not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
What did they want with a man in the House of Psychotic Women? What do they do to a man in the House of Psychotic Women? What else?
Stop it! Stop it!
House of Psychotic Women from Independent International. Rated R. Under 17 not admitted without parent.
It could happen for real, and never forget that. Welcome to the Drive-In Asylum double feature with me, Bill Van Ryn, Sam Panico, and our special guest tonight, Mike Justice.
Hi, everybody.
In the flesh. Hello.
Hi. I haven't been on in a while.
I know. Welcome back.
Well, I think after being on for like, what was I on, like 12 episodes or something? You're like...
I think this is your 13th.
Ooh. Oh, that's fun.
That must be why my mouse fell apart right before the show.
We're having severe weather here, so if you hear thunder, get it. It's not sound effects. It's real. It's like happening live. It's exciting.
So it looks, your house outside looks like the picture underneath you. That's a live shot of the outside of your apartment.
God, I love. Oh man, I wish I lived in some like spooky castle like that. Yeah.
There is a house in Pittsburgh that somebody built their house to look like the Dark Shadows estate. And like, I guess they were like a rich person that loved Dark Shadows, and it sold a couple years ago. I'm like, God, could you imagine living in that house?
I think I showed Bill, there's a house for sale in Sewickley, this big pink house filled with kitschy little like doll houses and like doll furniture and like 1950s era diner furnishings. And it's being, I guess whoever lived there died. It's on a hill. There's no driveway. You have to walk up a huge flight of stairs, and they're selling it with all the furniture included for like $350,000. And it's been on the market for over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that has anything to do with the creepy dolls.
I think like if you ignore all those I could totally see myself living there. I mean, it's really spooky and cool, but like I'd have to resign myself to dying there because I could never sell that house.
Yeah.
Like,
is it the pink house of the broken doll?
Oh my gosh. It would be you know what I would do if I bought it is just make a giallo in it and then just like put all the furniture in storage or sell it or something. But you know,
it sounds kind of like the kind of house that you have to give a name to. I love whenever you watch these like old British movies and like, we're going to Cottingwood, and it's like, what's that? It's like, that's our house.
We go to Valentine Cottage.
Yeah, I've never named a house. Like,
you should put a prequel to Sleepaway Camp there. That's all about the aunt.
Oh yeah,
we live in a house like that.
Yeah, R.I.P. She died a few years ago, right? Aunt Martha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, Chris is right. I was made to live in Western Pennsylvania because and I'm like you know how in The Jerk, he's, I think he's obsessed with St. Louis, or he wants to move to St. Louis because he heard a radio station coming from there. Like when I was growing up, like all I ever watched was like George Romero things. And then that's why I made the Monongahela Mongoloid, because I was like, I need to be living in Pittsburgh. It's probably scarier than where I am now.
There was a Monongahela Mongoloid attack this week. I don't know if you know about this, Mike. There was on Thursday morning, well, overnight between Wednesday and Thursday, someone stole 2 cars and was driving them back and forth through Monongahela, shooting at cops. What? And then they barricaded themselves in a building Thursday morning. The cops spent 3 hours trying to get them, and then they couldn't find them, so they went home. Then the guy got on Facebook Live about 4 o'clock and was like, had all these guns. And he's like, hey, no one can get me. And he was like high and like talking about how he outwitted the cops. Meanwhile, there was someone else who was doing a live appearance tonight named Hambone in town that was Facebooking Live from another building, and he could see him in the building. So they were both on Facebook Live. And this is maybe about a couple 100 feet from my house. So of course, Becca was on the back porch with the iPad and a phone, watching the 2 different views. And the Hambone guy was like giving shout outs to local pizza shops. And he's like, cops are coming. There's a cop I know. And so the cops fired tear gas into the building for like 3 hours. And finally they took him out shirtless, of course. And it was pretty exciting. It was on the news nonstop.
Would I approve?
No, he was like maybe 70 pounds.
Oh, so he's like one of those like shirtless druggy guys or something.
And there was so much tear gas fired, and his face was just black because he was like hiding in an attic, trying to get away from the tear gas.
Aren't there like 3,000 people in Monongahela? It's a small town.
About 3,000. Hold on, Becca's coming in with info on this.
What? You know how I got caught?
How did he get caught?
The whole reason the lady spotted him was because he came out of hiding in an attic to ask her if she had a vape pen.
Oh, here's why he got caught. I don't know if you guys heard this. Yeah, he came out of his hiding place and asked someone else in that building, does anyone have a vape pen? And that's how they found him. Yeah, there's around 3,000
with videos like that, like where you would see people living in somebody's attic
Yeah.
and like a camera would catch them coming out at night or something, and like, ooh, that's like such a bad Ronald situation. Dr. Freudstein.
So he had also killed somebody else outside of Home Depot months ago or weeks ago. So yeah, my neighbor got a flashlight stolen by this guy. He had a flashlight in his truck, so the guy reached in and got it. So otherwise, Mike, I'd like you to assure you that Monongahela is very safe. This is an aberration. It's not Grand Theft Auto. And you know, the Sheets has been closed, so that kind of like everybody's going a little crazy. Once the Sheets reopens, everything will calm down again.
You know, it's funny. They took the crime maps off of real estate sites because they said it was kind of problematic. But before, when they used to have the crime map, Monongahela was always like green. But then New Eagle, is that the town next door, was like red. And I was like, wait, what? Like you cross the, like, why do you cross the city limits? And suddenly there's like way more crime in this little piece of
the closer you get to McKeesport, the more dangerous it gets.
Oh yeah. But East McKeesport is nice, right? Like North Versailles.
North Versailles. See, you said it right too. You're meant to be in Pittsburgh. You didn't say North Versailles. You know what
I did it when I came out, and Bill corrected me. Bill taught me.
Yeah. If you wonder like why does Sam mispronounce everything? It's because
I forgot. You could have claimed that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we have the same thing in San Francisco. All the streets were named after Spanish explorers, and people just say Cabrillo. Like even Mexicans say Cabrillo. Like it's always pronounced the American way. Like they don't try to. Sometimes young people will try to change it and be like, "We need to be more like culturally sensitive." I'm like, to Spanish explorers? Like no way. Like I don't owe them anything.
No. But there is a cool bar in New Eagle. That's about all I can. And there's a gas station that has a mini casino in it, and they named it the PM Grand. But it's just like a gas station casino with 3 machines. But they have like a big sign like "Come see our casino."
Oh
it's
dear.
Like, it's something else. I try to get Becca to go there all the time. She's like, no. But
thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. I see we have 44 viewers right now. That's kind of high for the first segment. So thanks for hanging out with us. Remember to click that like button. And if you really like us, share. Oh, and subscribe on YouTube too. Yeah. Our numbers have been going up on YouTube, which I'm very happy about. Also, thanks to our sponsors for this week, Matt Corona and Jennifer Upton.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, they sent us some ching. And it was... enough to pay our streaming fees for 1 entire month. So that was fabulous.
How many shillings did we get from Jen?
she sent us a few tuppence.
The pound is stronger than the dollar. So
is no. Yeah. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have been so condescending about it.
It's always worth more than $1.
Yeah. Chris Erickson, who's sometimes in the chat, is actually in London right now, and he sent me some video. He bought some DVDs over there. He sent me a picture of a British Amityville Horror 4K, and I was like, "God, you know me so well." So I don't know where he was at, Tesco or something. I don't know any British stores. I'm not going to pretend that I do.
When I was in England, I was actually really excited because I was able to stream like a remastered, like HD like widescreen version of The Beast in the Cellar. And
wow!
In the US, it's only available in like this cropped, like pan and scan, like old taken from like the Canon, like when Canon released it. And so but you can't stream. Like they have like a firewall if you're not in England. So the minute I got off the plane, I'm like, hey, I could stream Beast in the Cellar now. And so that was like one of the first things I did.
He went to the Coronation Street tour today, and you get to meet an actor from Coronation Street. So that was his excitement today.
Did he say who he met?
It's one. He posted a picture of him. It's a black guy. I don't know who he is. He's like one of the big stars, but yeah, can't remember who it was. But he took pictures of the set and he posted them, so he was really excited. They went over because his wife wanted to see Taylor Swift in London. So I think like he's getting to do some stuff that he wants to do, and she's getting to do some stuff that she wanted to do. But it looks fun.
Yeah, when I was there, I tried to watch TV. All they have are dating reality shows about dating, cop shows, and soap operas.
Oh, that's kind of like here, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time since I've watched like actual TV.
Yeah, I just stream Tubi all day. That's all I do. And watch DVDs or Blu-rays. I don't pick anything. I mean, I pick everything. So yeah. I'm excited you're on tonight, Mike. This is a natural double feature that we're doing tonight. And I saw you shared a lot of this shows up in a lot of marquees in movies too, like this double feature, which is wild.
Yeah, I know. I remember the first time I saw it, I'd already seen the movie, but I remember my friend in high school was like, we have to watch the Madonna movie, A Certain Sacrifice. And I was like, okay. And so I was watching it. And at some point, like she's driving around Times Square in a limo. And I was like, oh, look, it's a double feature of House of Psychotic Women and Nurse Sherry. And my friend's like, yeah, but look at Madonna. And I'm like, my takeaway from that movie was just that they had that marquee in the background.
That was the Italian Stallion Party at Kitty and Studs, where it's like, oh, Sylvester Stallone's whole ween is in this. No, it's not. It's
very disappointing.
Yeah, same way as this. It's like, oh, Madonna shows it all.
You know, when they remastered Fleshpot on 42nd Street, you can clearly see like they drive past a theater showing Blood and Lace, and I can't remember what Blood and Lace played on a double feature with, like the Crimson Cult or something. I think it's like the Crimson Cult and Blood and Lace.
AIP. It was an AIP film.
I love whenever they like you're watching a movie that's like just like a normal movie, you know what I mean, a dramatic movie, and all of a sudden they cut to a marquee and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And it totally takes me out of the movie, and I'd rather be watching whatever they could be going to see.
Annie Hall.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because he's like, they drive past a drive-in showing Messiah of Evil, and he's
what a magical night.
Well, this movie, the first one that we're going to watch is House of Psychotic Women, and that one actually came out first. It's older than Nurse Sherry, and it's actually what came out in the States in 1976. Nurse Sherry wasn't ready for the world till 1978, so they didn't become a thing until 1978. But
what was it released with first? Or you'll probably tell us when you show us.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. It was not one thing.
I can't imagine that it ever played by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it did.
It played by itself?
Yeah, it did.
Like you have to buy a special ticket to only see House of Psychotic Women. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, theatrically, it always had a co-feature at the drive-in.
How did you guys first see it?
I saw it on VHS, I think is the first time I saw it.
Yeah, me too. I think there's like a picture that everyone probably has seen of a guy being tortured with a fire poker or something by the House of Psychotic Women. But, women were doing it, not the
He's
house,
like this muscle-bound dude, like chained up, and his shirt is ripped. And these girls are like brandishing a They're
definitely like Olga. They're like Olga's sisters.
Yeah, and there's a chick in the back with like a whip and stuff. And the first time I saw it on Commando USA's Groovy Movies. It was only like the third week after I started watching. I remember the first week he showed Mausoleum, and the second week was The Being, and then the third week was House of Psychotic Women. And it's weird to think that I saw it in like 1988, so the movie, it was only 14 years old then.
Yeah,
I felt like, in 1988, watching a movie from 1974 was like really watching something really old. But now, if you watched a movie from 2010, unless you were like nitpicking the technology of like the phones or whatever, you couldn't really tell probably.
It feels like, I don't know, maybe it's a thing of age, but it feels like there's a bigger gulf of time from like our childhoods now versus like stuff from the 2000s. I'm like, nothing's really changed. I mean, my phone's gotten bigger and then smaller and then bigger, and maybe I can do more with it, but that's about it.
I say that all the time, though, is how a lot of these Euro horror films, which this movie is from 1974, I think was the original year that it was released in Spain, and they got delayed a couple of years before they were released in the States, so it was already pretty late for stuff like Vampire's Night Orgy. And, just like stuff that it's not heavily reliant on special effects, because this was the late 70s by the time, the Nurse Sherry double feature was the late 70s. And there was so many like technologically advanced movies on the market. And
it's post Star Wars. So people are expecting more. Maybe not from House of Psychotic Women but they're like, where is the lightsabers?
I was disappointed.
I was thinking, what was the movie that you showed last week? Touch of Satan. And I realized that Touch of Satan has never had an honest advertising campaign. Like every time it was titled something, it was something really misleading. And I was thinking that like, and it's same sort of like with House of Psychotic Women. I was like, when people go to see like Touch of Satan and House of Psychotic Women, do they say, hey, this wasn't what I was expecting, but I liked it anyway? Or were they just irate? Like, this is nothing like it was advertised.
I love whenever people get mad about a movie and they'll tell me about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I love that movie. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's great.
That's all the time for me. Daryl, you were at the screening of Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll, the Monsterama. Was that where I first met you? Or was where I first met you the Mahoning? I can't remember.
Did they show that at the Jollo-thon or whatever?
Was it the Spanish one that they did?
Yeah. That was when Joe Rude and Alex Lopez came.
Yeah. That was a great weekend because they played. I hadn't seen like 5 of the 8 movies, and it was like, wow, that was really cool to just.
Roger was there. Roger Braden. There were a lot of people there for that one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
House of Psychotic Women, I remember it played like after I saw it on USA. It played on USA. I think it might have even had a Saturday Nightmares.
Oh wow,
episode. Yeah, it would be on like from 88 to 90. It was playing all the time.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a version of it called House of Doom that played on TV or something.
That's the TV edit. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder why they changed the title. It was House of Psychotic Women, just too provocative or something.
Like, we don't have enough for TV Guide. We need to have a shorter title so we can get in that grid.
They didn't want any angry phone calls that week.
Yeah. So House of Psychotic Women suggests that this could be a Robert Altman movie. It's a sequel to The Women.
Right. Or like a Henry Jaglom movie or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you're like, oh no, eyeballs are getting ripped out and dropped into water. Don't worry. It's this, you won't learn anything. So it'll be good. This is also on Tubi, by the way, Bill. I saw you put the link up, but it's on Tubi under the Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll title.
Oh. Well, the Internet Archive doesn't have any commercials.
Yeah, so that's probably the better place to watch it.
I'm just saying.
Is it, what's the just the link you posted is for Internet Archive?
Yeah.
Is it, what cut is it? Is it like the House of Psychotic Women cut or Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll?
It's Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll, and it's all fixed up. It looks really nice.
Ooh.
When I first moved to LA in 2011, I didn't have internet for a while, or we had internet, but we didn't have like a streaming TV. Like we could watch movies online, but mostly we just had a TV, and we actually had a VCR, and we had a VHS tape of House of Psychotic Women, and I used to watch that and Foxy Brown like all the time because it was the only 2 tapes that I had.
Can you speak to how the cuts differ? Because I can't.
Well, there's a pig that gets killed in Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll that's completely absent from House of Psychotic Women. And House of Psychotic Women, I believe it has a couple of trims where there's a gore scene or 2, like involving somebody getting throat cut or whatever, but there's no like missing chunks of plot or anything. It's pretty much the same movie.
They didn't cut the last 10 minutes off, like All the Colors of the Dark.
No.
I mean, to get you.
I do like the way though that the House of Psychotic Women ends, because the Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll ends with just like, the Spanish distributor or the Spanish producer or whatever. But on the House of Psychotic Women, they cut out the credits and they just end it with that Independent International like typeface thing coming towards the screen. It just says the end, Independent International, and then like pieces out.
Oh. Every time I see that logo, it makes me so excited. I'm about to see something crazy. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, I always kind of thought that like Independent International was like somewhere between like AIP and like Box Office International. Like it wasn't as bad as those like A Scream in the Streets and stuff like that. But
I've been watching a lot of Box Office International stuff this week. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, I'm about to see something really scuzzy. That's the feeling I get with that, especially when I see Harry Novak's name get drawn out slowly. I'm like, oh, well, he was proud of this one.
Oh yeah, he has that little cursive thing that spells
He
out.
stole a good one this time.
Yeah, well, it's when the first Something Weird DVD trailer collection came out that was it was available everywhere. That's one of the first DVDs I bought, and there were 15 Harry Novak trailers on it, and I'm like, who is this guy, and why does his name keep coming up? And this is when I first started getting into this stuff, and I'm like, man, he really Erotic Adventures of Romeo and Juliet, and all Wham Bam Thank You Spaceman, and all these movies that I'm like, wow, he did it, he did something, and man, I've been watching him this week, and he really did do something.
What I think I've asked you guys this. What did Box Office International ever how some distributors, they would just randomly license some critically acclaimed foreign movie, and you'd be like, really, Jerry Gross, distributed My Favorite Laundrette or something weird like that. Did Box Office International ever have any A-list movies or critically acclaimed movies or anything, or was it all crap?
Not that I've seen. I think it's been all crap.
It's all about on the same level.
Yeah. They were like, you know what, we're here to make money from perverts. That's what they were like. Or people that like scummy movies. That's what
Affable
they were here
perverts.
For. Affable perverts. That's my favorite quote about me.
They released Axe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they would put out stuff like Axe, which I mean, say what you will about Axe, it's so much better than say a Scream in the Streets or something. It's this scuzzy ass movie filmed without permits on the street, and some guy in a wig's like, "Hey, officer!"
I'd say nothing bad about Axe.
Yeah,
I like Axe a lot.
Bad things about that. Lisa. Sorry, that's what the real title of the movie.
I saw it on video as California Axe Massacre, and I'm like, California, my ass!
Yeah.
This is obviously from the South somewhere.
I guess if you
just watched
your eyes closed a little.
I just watched Please Don't Eat My Mother. Speaking of Box Office International, and I love the idea of that movie is, what if somebody remade Little Shop of Horrors, but it was real horny, and that's really the only difference. It's wild. It's the same. It's almost the same movie, except Renee Bond's in it, and then you're like, cool, that's awesome.
I actually like the plant from that movie.
Oh, yeah. I like that they have kids. That there's a spoiler warning for the ending. The male and female plants, Adam and Eve, have babies, and the babies are just little potted plants.
All right, are we gonna look at the ads?
Yeah.
I got some ads to show. I got a lot of ads to show.
Sensual possession thrillers.
I was happy that this movie. I had forgotten that House of Psychotic Women came out first and was not forever wedded to Nurse Sherry. So I was happy about that, because we don't have to look at the same ads for both segments. I do have something special for Nurse Sherry.
Oh, cool.
All right. So here's one of the movies that it played with, Mike. Horror of the Zombies.
Oh, yeah.
That was contemporary with House of Psychotic Women.
These are these are the kind of possession thrillers that'll take you to a nice dinner and have some foreplay. They're not just gonna
possession movie.
Yeah, they're sensual possession thrillers.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Horror of the Zombies.
Yeah, well,
there's a brutal rape in it. They think that's fucking sensual. Who wrote that ad?
I mean, it's from Europe.
Yeah, the foreign investors wanted it.
Yeah. She's making those foreign movies, nudies.
Oh, right.
Art films.
Nudies.
That's all they are.
So Horror of the Zombies and House of Psychotic Women both came out on this VHS. I think Vidmark put them out as the world's worst movies. They took all these independent international films and created their own little winky subsidiary to distribute them.
How cute. They would call either one of these movies the worst movies ever made.
World's worst movies, yeah. And it was this, and then some Al Adamson ones like Blood of Ghastly Horror. And
I mean, I guess a poor man's worst movie ever made would be one of these, I guess.
Yeah.
Maria Pershey is in both of these movies.
Superstar Maria Pershey.
I've tried to figure out, what was she famous for? She had an American career for a second, I think, or something. She had something, because I remember when she would be in these movies, they would be, and special guest star Maria Pershey, and I'm
She's the hype.
Yeah.
She plays the wheelchair-bound Yvette in House of Psychotic Women.
Yeah. She had something bizarre happen to her. Like she was in an accident or something, or got burned over some part of her body and had to like retire for a bit. And then these movies were like her comeback.
Here's a peek at Nurse Sherry. I skipped ahead to this one somehow.
Oh, I will reserve my comment on this. I have a comment, but we'll reserve it for when we get back. Ooh. They call me Twin East Tibbs. That's the sequel to Color of the Night. Yeah.
Sickness pills were available at the theater, just in case.
Pirin tablets.
Pirin.
Excuse me, sir. May I have a sickness pill? This movie is disagreeing with me.
I don't know how I'd watch House of Psychotic Women if it wasn't for the Pirins.
Do you think they just had like a box of Mike and Ike's and they poured them out? They just gave somebody like one, like just take it. You can chew it.
Hopefully,
probably lemon heads or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Mike and Ike's dolls, as I like to call them.
Oh, you gotta take dolls to sleep, dolls to wake up,
dolls to watch the show.
Dolls to watch the show.
Sam, you got a hail.
Hey, what's up? Good to see you again.
So what was Women in Bloody Terror?
I've never seen it.
Yeah. Is it something else retitled, or is it just has it ever come out on video?
It's one of those Joy Houck movies, Houck, I think is how you spell his last name. It was like Night of the Strangler, Women in Bloody Terror, and there was another one,
Night of Bloody
Horror.
Yeah, they consider that one. It says like a companion. The tagline's really great. You might live with an alcoholic, or you might live with a dope addict, but not with his wife's habit. That's the tagline of that movie.
Wow.
Yeah. What is his wife's habit?
Is Night of Bloody Horror that movie where like Gerald McRaney blacks out and thinks he kills people or something?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either of those.
TV's Major Dad?
Yes. I think it was filmed in like New Orleans or something in 1969. It was his first movie. Blood Brides.
Here's an exciting one. You know what movie Blood Brides is? Hatchet for the Honeymoon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Imagine these two movies playing.
I like it.
Killer Carnival of Blood.
I like Hurry, Must End Tuesday. If we show it on Wednesday, we will be arrested.
Must End Tuesday, because they're getting kicked out of the theater.
Yeah. It's like at midnight and there's just some movie cop there and he's like, you better end House of Psychotic Women by 11:58 or everybody's going to jail.
You might want it to last more than 7 days, but it will not.
Nope.
From the 80s, it came back.
Wow.
It's like House of Psychotic Women is sort of like Silent Night, Bloody Night. Like I'm like, really? Like you're really getting a lot of mileage out of that thing.
I mean, Cannon put it back out in like 81.
81, yeah. Death House,
yeah.
Another House movie.
Yeah. House Where Death Lives. Is that Delusion, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the other title for The House Where Death Lives.
Young but old Joseph Cotton. You can never really tell his age when he's in stuff.
This had a much more exciting ad campaign, though, I must admit. Delusion is sort of like an art house title.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's go see Delusion. Oh, that sounds okay. Like, let's go see The House Where Death Lives. Yeah, I'm into that.
Ooh.
Oh, Kiss of the Tarantula. I love that movie. Yes.
Can you be are there like Kiss of the Tarantula and Death Dream are horror movies that take place at a drive-in, at least part of it?
Yeah.
Can you think of any other movies where they have like a scene where there's besides Drive-In Massacre?
I was gonna say Drive-In Massacre.
Yeah.
Ruby.
Oh yeah, Ruby.
Dead End Drive-In. The cinematographer of Kiss of the Tarantula actually shot this adult movie, Mary Mary, which is a satanic adult film, and I just watched it and it's crazy. Vinegar Syndrome put it out. The director of it never made another movie, but a lot of people think that it's the cinematographer using a pseudonym. But yeah, he did it right after Kiss of the Tarantula. It looks like a Hollywood movie. It has like a police chase in it. Oh, Bill, this is a Bill night at the movies right here. Kane Road. This is I've been to this drive-in.
Mm-hmm. This was a little love letter to you, Sam. The Kane Road Drive-In Theater with Beyond the Fog, Midnight, and how did they get The Beast Within on there?
I don't know. I saw the Brady Bunch movie at Cambridge Drive-In like a couple of months before it closed.
Those are all independent international films except The Beast Within.
Yeah. Bill, you were like, can we not show the Stooges, please? Just get to Beyond the Fog. I don't want to see any Stooges.
As long as they're first.
Yeah. That flea market goes late, 9 to 5. That's a lot. Usually it's like a 9 to 1. What are you doing? Cane Road's gone. They tore everything down around it. It's very sad.
Here's another couple of winners with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nurse Sherry was nowhere in sight for Cannibal Girls and Deranged. Poor Sally Mae. She was pretty.
She was the first to die, right?
She's dead, but the worst hasn't happened to her yet. No,
Dustin said Beyond
really...
the Fog played with every movie ever.
Yeah, it sure did. And it played with like even more movies when it was called Horror on Snape Island.
Yeah.
Beyond the Fog is sort of like there was a period there where every time I was shopping for movie memorabilia, I would always find like multiple press kits from Beyond the Fog. It was sort of like the vomit bag from Mark of the Devil. Like you find one and you're like, "Ooh, I got," and then you're like, "Oh, everybody's got one."
Oh wow, Ginger. That's crazy.
How's this for some psychotic women?
Yeah.
You could see Love Factory and Heterosexual at the 66.
Wouldn't Ginger have been like even older than House of Psychotic Women? It would have been like from like 68 or 69, I think.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I think Ginger was early 70s.
Is it? Okay. If only I had a magic box in my hands and I could say, what year? 1971. Huh.
So she just made it.
Yeah. Sherry Cafafaro, Ginger. The first in the Ginger trilogy. Ooh.
Coming to get you. No, yes. They.
No,
they couldn't fit it on there, I guess.
What is lunatic, Bill?
It's like a note somebody leaves. Coming to get you. It's like a text. You get it. Okay.
It's a short text while you're driving. Twisted Throats, I know what that is. That's Hollywood 90028, which Bill just did the gallery for.
Yes, go order it from grindhousereleasing.com. It's fabulous. It's a beautiful set. You know how good Impulse was.
Yeah.
This is going to be just as good, if not better. And it does have a Bill Van Ryn ad gallery on it. Lots of cool stuff to look at.
You know who saw the Dust to Dawn show, Bill?
U of M grad Steve King.
Yes, 100%. He was there. And he said, man, I really like that Coming to Get You, but I wonder what happens at the end.
I think I've seen They're Coming, or I've seen that movie once, and I forgot that I saw it, but I found an old review of it, and it was like, or notes that I had taken to write a review, and it was like, woman dreams that she's being chased by naked people. Then naked people really chase her, but but everyone thinks she's crazy. Is that like what the movie's about?
That's what I remember.
I love in the end of the real cut, the Italian one. She's like, I don't even think I'm myself anymore. And her husband's like, oh, okay. Like he's like, I don't know what to do about that. You know what I mean? She's like, I'm afraid of myself. And it's like, wow.
Well, anyway, Lunatic is the standout here.
What is Lunatic?
Lunatic was a reissue of The Night Visitor.
Ooh. Wow.
From 1971. And if you've never seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It's bizarre. And it's Max von Sydow is a mental patient who is like tormenting people who'd done him wrong, but he's incarcerated in an asylum, and everybody's like, well, how is he doing this? And eventually there's this amazing sequence in that movie that just shows you exactly how he's doing this, and it's kind of mind-blowing, I thought.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, he must be getting out. How? And then that's when you learn he's an expert at parkour.
Before we knew what parkour was.
Right.
I do agree. That Thomas said the Up from the Depths monster just made its way into that.
Yeah, for no reason at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on the lineup.
Ooh, Island of Lost Girls. These are the most evil females you'll ever meet.
I mean, they're not. They can be kind of. I mean, you'll see. They're kind of unpleasant, but I wouldn't call them like
No.
Evil.
They're not even psychotic.
Yeah.
No,
They all have problems. Like one has a fake hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and like, and one of them is like a nymphomaniac, and it's like basically that's her only problem is that she just can't not sleep with people.
Yeah.
And she gets mad, doesn't she? She's the one that gets mad when he likes the other ones.
Yeah, and she goes, "I'm done sleeping with that filthy vagrant," and it's like.
Oh.
Okay, so we're back to this. I think I might have put this in here twice. Yeah.
Oh, House of Doom.
A man goes to a weird castle.
Like, could we have the most basic description of this? Yes.
Yeah.
I also like that. Two things I like about this. One, they're like, what's kerning? We don't know. Like, why does the Three Sisters is totally spaced out nuts on that next line. Also, it's like, if you're bored with Spanish horror, can we interest you in Full Contact Karate on the next channel? These are your choices. You have two choices.
There was a lot of good shit on late night TV.
Oh, yep. Death Waits Visitors of a Castle. See, now that one, we're setting up some tension versus like man visits a spooky castle. Like, okay.
Well, they're setting something up that the movie never gives you, but that's okay.
Death lives at the House of Doom.
It's not a castle, is it?
No. It's like a big, I don't know, some big European house.
Yeah, a hacienda, as they.
I wouldn't call it a castle.
No.
Oh wow.
Oh. Yeah. Well, obviously these are two different drive-ins, but I had to leave Gator Bait in here. I think I cut it out in another ad, so I wanted to show you the whole thing.
They really trumped up Claudia Jennings with good reason, but I mean that's pretty amazing. Half animal, all woman. That's a great tagline. I mean, how can you not want to see Gator Bait after that?
Well, that was kind of her breakout movie, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Look what's happening now at your favorite drive-ins, guys.
Look what's happened to Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah. I like that on one side, you're getting like horrific women. And on the other side, it's like kind of like incestual Southern, all the love and kinfolk and Gator Bait.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Gator Bait.
Yeah.
I loved House of Psychotic Women when I first saw it because I thought it was so exotic because I just thought it was just going to be this American movie about crazy people, and it turned out I was like, ooh, it's from it looked like it was from the 60s. I couldn't tell it was from the 70s because they're all wearing like mini skirts and stuff, and it was like I was like, oh, this is exotic. They have like the same like piccolo flute theme playing. It doesn't matter if somebody got murdered or there's a sex scene or a chase scene. They have like the same music playing.
I like that it turns into Farrah Jacques sometimes, and it's like the only murder movie I've seen where Farrah Jacques plays, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, there's got to be another one, doesn't there?
I'm
For
sure.
Farrah Jacques.
This is the movie, like, when Al Bundy used to take his vacations where he would just sit on the couch and stare at a picture of like France, and he'd be like, I'm going to France in my head. Like that's what this is like to me. Like, I'm going to Spain without leaving my chair.
What's funny is that so it's a Spanish movie, but it's supposed to take place in France.
Yeah.
And they're all like super like Claude and Yvette and like
Gilles.
Yeah, Gilles.
They're trying to sell it.
Gilles.
Gardner Gilles.
And it's funny, and I was wondering, I still don't know why. Like, I wonder, like, why did they set it in France? Like, do Spanish people think France is like cool and exotic, or did they think it would sell better in America if they thought it was France and not Spain or something?
I don't know. I think maybe it's like French women. I don't know. Maybe
I just think it would. It just sounds so random. It'd be like if you guys like made a movie in Pittsburgh, but you pretended it was Youngstown, Ohio, or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Well, it was the murder capital of the world for some time, so it is slightly exotic. Yeah.
I mean, if you were making a movie that was supposed to be about like some shitty like, Rust Belt hellhole, I mean, he probably would set it in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. They used to have in Youngstown at this one scrap yard. They just used to have like, actually an entire theme park was turned into a scrapyard because like it just closed one day and they never like got rid of the rides or anything, and people would like sneak in and like try to make the roller coasters run. Like they're like, what happened to the money of it? Also, the main theme park outside of not theme park, a mall outside of Youngstown, Southern Park Mall, it's owned by the DeBartolos, who also own the 49ers. And if you flew over top of it, it was shaped like a Tommy gun, because maybe that's where some of the money came from to run this mall.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you did it. You did it. Also, Thomas says everyone knows that French women are psychotic. So people, when they saw that it was House of Psychotic Women, they're like, oh, well, yeah, they have to be French. So it just made a lot of sense.
What was the softcore movie where women were turning men into hot dogs?
I don't know, but I want to watch it.
Jeff mentioned it in the chat, and I think I remember hearing about that movie, but it was probably from Jeff. So I don't know if we ever figured out.
Could it have been like the Corpse Grinders? Like,
no,
they turn it into cat food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they turn into cat food, and then when the cats eat the people, they decide to attack their owners because they've developed a taste for people. So good.
No, this was like a softcore comedy type thing.
Huh.
So
it wasn't obviously not Hot Dog the movie, because that doesn't happen in Hot
Oh,
Dog
no, absolutely not.
That's about skiing.
Let's think about it while we do the drink segment.
Sherry. There's a drink for Nurse Sherry. This is Beyond the Living. 2 ounces of vodka, 6 ounces passion fruit juice. Use it up. Welch's. If you're making a drink, you got to have the Welch's. We got 2 ounces of pineapple juice, an ounce of lime juice. This is much simpler and more normal than the other drink. We'll see how it tastes. What a taste. We got all the fruit juices here. Over here, we got the vodka
And lime.
and the lime. Ah, Sam Sherman would be proud. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. This is going to be wonderful. This is for sipping. Pazuzu. This is wonderful. This is one of the better drinks I've ever made, and it's going to be really good for watching this junkie movie, which I do like, but you could drink this during Ruby too. Anyway, Pazuzu.
You may have noticed that I put the wrong drink recipe with the video.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I was exhausted when I did that, so I apologize. So this is the drink for our second movie, but it's okay. You can drink them in whatever order you want to.
I think it's fun to get the reels mixed up. It feels authentic.
Yeah, it does. I was just going to say, it feels like we're watching Seven Doors of Death, and
Very House by the Cemetery.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what's going on.
I remember reading, I think, some story about how that one of somebody stole like a print of "I Spit on Your Grave," and they just took like the opening and closing credits and stuck them onto like this old movie about a guy with like a magic silver string banjo, and people are like sitting there like, "Where's the rape? God damn it!"
Roger Ebert would love that story.
And yeah, he probably did it.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want anyone to see this film. And Gene was like, thanks for doing that.
Gene was worse than Roger. Roger liked some exploitation.
Yeah.
Gene was just like, if it's not My Dinner with Andre, it can piss off.
No, Gene liked sex movies.
Yeah.
He was super horny. Yeah, like it was always sex movies if he gave an exploitation film a positive review.
He liked Inframan too.
Yeah. Well, Roger really loved that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they get kind of a bad rap. Like I people will be like, can you believe that they gave like Friday the 13th a bad review? Like, can you believe they gave Shadows Run Black a bad review? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like these are real critics that like real movies. Like
there was one thing someone shared, Bill. I think you might have shared it. Someone commented, and they're like, they didn't like Halloween 3. That just proves to me what horrible people they were, and nothing they ever did with. And I was like, should I write something? I'm like,
nobody liked Halloween 3. No, that movie did not get any kind of respect, even from horror fans.
Yeah, nobody liked it. And like today, people are like, it's a class. It is an unassailable classic, and you shan't say anything about it. And it's like, it's fine. It's a whatever.
I'm not really a huge like Halloween 3 fan. Like I'd probably say I think like Night of the Creeps is better than Halloween 3.
Oh man, you're never going to be on Joe Bob now with that kind of
I know, right?
Or you might. He may say, "Oh, that's yes, exactly."
Well, he hates Halloween
Yeah,
3. So
exactly.
Yeah, but
Welcome.
the Darcy, the male girl, will like intercept, and he like she'll make sure I don't get the message. Yeah.
Sad. Hey, Bill, we forgot to mention too. This week, the news came out. You can get the new Visual Vengeance movie that Bill and I did a commentary for, Despiser, and it will be available in October. And if you order it from Diabolic DVD and you get the 2-pack, holy cow, you can get a troll doll, which came directly from our commentary, which is very exciting.
We were talking about how they should give away a troll doll with this movie, and they did.
Yeah. I will say, of the movies we've done, I really like everything we've done, but I think Despiser is the best quality. If you're looking for like a high quality movie that we've done, it's probably one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool movie. It's like if Lord of the Rings was like redone by kids that played a lot of D&D and smoked a lot of weed and kind of
were also heavily involved in their church.
Yeah, but kind of like we're church kids, but kind of didn't want to be church kids anymore, but we're trying to make a church thing. It's pretty awesome. Yeah,
there is a visual pitch on the second segment.
Ooh.
I didn't find out about it until I was working on the second segment video. So you'll see a plug for it there.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. I am so jazzed. And the box art, I'm always so excited whenever they finally do the artwork, because I know what the movie looks like from seeing it, and then you see the artwork and like, yeah, they figured it out. Like
it's nice.
Yeah, it's super cool. And that's coming out, and so is Kung Fu Rascals, is the other of the two movies that are coming out in October. And I've been told a lot of other stuff is coming. They showed a shot on video movie I never saw. Tonight they're showing it at the Nighthawk Theater in Brooklyn. It's Rat Scratch Fever. And in the trailer, a rat climbs into a crib and pulls a baby out by his feet. And I was like, holy shit, I got to see this movie. If that doesn't sell you on a movie, right, Mike? Like that's a movie. Like, let's see it.
Yeah, I'm not as hot for shot on video. I like Boarding House and stuff, but I remember like watching Sledgehammer and just being like, oh god, it's kind of a chore.
Yeah, some of them are great though. Like it depends, and like there's I would say like Slaughter Day that they put out is awesome. Like it's like has like the energy of Evil Dead, and it's just wild. Like there's some really cool stuff that the company's put out. So we're excited to be part of it. And though Despiser is not shot on video, it's a digital film, and it's like the best CGI from like 1998. That's about the best way I can describe it.
It looks like a video game.
Yeah,
it's it
was like a PS1 game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the special effects are video game level, which is kind of cool because there's actual people acting in it, which that wasn't a look they were going for. It's what they ended up with. But
it's got a lot of The Stand in it too. It's like someone that read The Stand, was a church kid and played D&D, and maybe got really cheap weed. That's kind of the best description I have of it.
Is it regional? Where's it from?
It is from Washington, D.C. It's not regional. It came out on because the same director actually did a movie that was picked up for 21st Century, the post-canon Menachem Golan company too. Okay. So yeah, and the Necrophiles Matt brings up, that movie's crazy. That movie it has like flying babies with spraying blood everywhere. It really goes for it. It's like, wow, I can't believe how wild this movie is.
The lead actor in Despiser looks a lot like Bruce Campbell of the Evil Dead, which really does not hurt.
Yeah. It's got also a bridge that is the longest bridge you've ever seen that goes over a lake.
Digital bridge.
A digital bridge, yeah. And it's like you can barely get two cars on it. It's something else. It also gets in stuff of like Russian meteors. The Tunguska incident is involved. Like it's pretty deep. It feels like you're in the middle of like, oh, this is like the 10th movie in this like Lord of the Rings like saga, but it's not. It's the only one. But to me, that's like a cool thing. It's definitely something. So definitely worth watching.
Mike Justice has a new movie out too.
He does.
On YouTube.
I have to watch it.
It's called Amber Ridge Massacre.
Yeah. It's from 1995. I'm going back and just kind of remastering and putting up some stuff that I kind of never got around to doing before. I want to move forward. I want to start making new stuff, but I made a deal with myself that I have to like pay respects to everything I've done before and get it up on the internet somewhere. And so that's what this year is about. It's about digging up all this old stuff. I've been like taking drives apart and getting adapters and like pulling footage off of old drives and stuff. So
I'm dying to ask you, like, this footage that you pieced together for these movies, did you intend for this? I mean, did you plan this out, or was it really something that you made, or are you just taking old footage that you did for fun and putting it together and giving it context?
I did that for like the last house on Diane Street. A lot of it is that, but like, for instance, the Amber Ridge Massacre, we intended for that to be a film. We actually even like wrote a script, and we would just, film it whenever. Yeah, I just had my camera and I would just cut school, and we would like, we'd see like garbage bags on the stairs, and I'd be like, okay, let's shoot a scene where she comes home and like, this is all your stuff and your roommates have thrown you out. Now get in a fight, go. Wow. And it's funny because it's like 30 years old now. So like and it's like, I've always had this footage, right? But the people who were in it have never seen it. And so I've been sending it to them, and they're like, what? Like, I totally forgot about that.
Massacre at Amber Ridge, or Amber Ridge Massacre, is all about Shafrika and her horrible outlook on life, and the way all of her roommates and friends pushed Shafrika too far.
Wait, because when I moved into that complex, I was hanging out with my neighbors, and they were like, oh, you're lucky that you missed Denisha. And I was like, who's Denisha? And they explained that she was this girl who had lived there, and she'd just charge up their phone bill and like leave the kitchen messy and all this stuff. And I was like, well, let's make a movie about her, but let's say she's a killer and her name is Shafrika.
I love how you gave a special credit to Shafrika's brother.
I know, right? Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't even say anything in the movie. He's just sort of there.
One line. Yeah, he's just lurking around in the background, like sleeping under blankets and like drinking water at the sink and stuff.
I kept waiting for him to do something. I'm like,
he does get killed. He drinks that poisoned orange juice and dies.
Oh yeah, she poisons people too. That's always a bad sign.
Right. It was really just her.
She put that shit in our food.
Well, that was supposed to be she drugs their food. Like, it's supposed to be that she put like a hallucinogen in there, but I didn't know anything about drugs. So I was like, I think she puts like LST in their drinks or something. And then she, at one point, is just pouring sugar into like a glass of pineapple juice. And I'm like, okay, now give it to your brother and like pretend like it's poison, and then like get all like turned on while you watch him die. And she's doing it and stuff. And he did not want to be in the movie. Like I had to force him into it. So,
well, he did a great job, and you were right to isolate his name in the credits.
Yeah.
That's how I knew. Isn't that weird? The scene in Basic Instinct where she drinks from the sink, and you're like, yeah, she's crazy. Like, that's the moment you know she's nuts, where she just starts walking out of the sink.
I don't remember that.
But they're like it's like hour 10 of their lovemaking, and like, he throws her butt onto the sink, and there's all the dirty dishes in it. And then she just like grabs the water in her hand.
Oh, that's like, Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Sorry, I'm not basing it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I got too excited.
Done it to me again.
Sorry, Bill. Sorry.
Go. I was gonna say there's a sink scene in Fatal Attraction, because that was my takeaway from Fatal Attraction. Like, the next day in English class, my friend kept writing sink scene on a piece of paper and holding it up, making me laugh.
I think there was also like a sex on the sink scene in The Postman Always Rings Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm tired of what's wrong and what's right. Jessica Lange's stunning performance.
Jessica Lange it was like about 10 years ago, and I was working in this bar, and like there's this kid, like this 20-year-old kid, like washing dishes in the back. And I said something about Jessica Lange, and he goes, oh, is she? I know who that is. She's that old lady from American Horror Story. I was like,
oh my God.
Is that what they're saying on the street? The kids now? Like, that's terrible.
I guess she is an old lady now, but I still remember her as Dwan.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice too, like on the seasons of American Horror Story, there would always be one episode where she'd get all slutty and like go to a bar and smoke cigarettes and pick up some guy, even the one where she played a nun. And I was like, it must have been in her contract. Like, she gets one episode to be like hot and slutty in a bar.
Yeah, that's in her rider. Literally.
Yes.
Someone has to ride her.
Yeah. I try every year. I try watching that show, and I make it like 3 episodes in, and I'm like, I've had enough. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I hit a wall where I'm just like, it's too much.
I understand.
Yeah.
They always run out of steam. Like, even if you didn't burn out so early, by the end of it, you'd be like, fuck this show.
Yeah.
That's the way every episode, every season has been for American Horror Story, including the one that was about the AIDS crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That one bummed me out. I was like, dude, like, they lead you through the entire season alluding to some sort of supernatural thing that they're showing you, but no, it's just, you know, a bunch of people got really sick and died. And I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, American Horror Story.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked 1984, I thought was a cool season, but I think
I love
could
that
have been
one.
It could have been like maybe like 4 episodes shorter.
I always like look at it and I'm like 6 episodes in, and I'm like, surely this is the end of the show. Like, no, there's 10 more episodes. And I'm like, what? I'm
Yeah.
And
exaggerating.
you would
but-
love all the references in 1984. You should try watching that one. At least that one.
Then that would take away from all these box office international films that I've been enjoying.
Oh yeah. Don't give
Yeah.
anything up for it. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
worth that. The
Yeah.
Cult season, though, that seems to be the one everybody hates. I fucking loved Cult. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, I thought it was. I loved Cult. That was the one. That was the one with where Sarah Paulson is like afraid. She has a phobia of like things with holes in it or something. And
Yes.
she like ends up like poisoning her girlfriend, and they live
She's
in
a
the
neurotic
Halloween houses.
millennial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah, that's another one I made it, and I was like, oh boy. It's
It
just
gets better.
does it?
I thought it did. I thought it did.
Though
The
I did
ending
watch.
was
I did
amazing.
watch all his OJ season when they did American Crime Story, whatever that is. Because Beck and I did a podcast about it, and David Schwimmer in those OJ ones is amazing. Because there's one like a supercut of just him saying "juice" over and over again. He's like "juice, juice, Uncle Juice," and it's amazing. And I watched the Versace one too, and that one was enjoyable trash too.
I never saw Feud.
Feud, I liked Feud
I saw that
actually.
one.
Yeah, I liked it. And that John Waters show up as William Castle. I mean, how can that not be amazing? You know, that's inspired. So yeah,
It was definitely fan service to Joan.
oh yeah,
Like Joan, they were out to salvage her image after Mommy Dearest. They were like, "You're gonna love Joan Crawford after this."
yeah.
They were definitely Christina haters.
You know, like that bitch ruined everything.
I was talking to somebody about that, and we were like, we narrowed down like Christina haters down to like 3 types of people, and one of them is like gay men who love Joan Crawford so much that they think of her as their mother, and they have sibling rivalry with Christina.
Yes.
like every gay man is like, they think they would have been like the twins, and that Joan would have been, you know,
Oh my
they had
God.
mercy on them or something. You know,
You said that so eloquently. That is so the truth. Absolutely.
yeah.
Like, why can't it be both? Why can't Christina have been right and you love Joan Crawford? Like,
You know, it's exactly, and it's like really like, you know, denying somebody's personal experience. Like, I'm a fan
Yeah.
of your mother's movie, so I won't believe you when you say that she was a monster behind closed doors. And it's like, you know, I like, you know, like
she was
Woody
her
Allen
fucking
movies. And stuff.
daughter.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
you
one of your fucking fans.
Yeah.
She lived there, like, and
Yeah.
that was her everyday reality. And you're
Right.
gonna say
And then
you
all
know
these-
better than she does,
right,
what
and all these guys are
happened?
like, no, she's a bitch. Like, me and Joan don't like her. Like, come on, Joan. Like, let's go where like Christina can hang out with us.
Get
And it's like,
over it. God.
Yeah.
You know, I think about that because my wife watches this show called Evil Lives Here that's on Max. It was on,
Oh God, I just watched that today.
Bill,
It was on.
Bill, let me tell you, because it's on. We watch a couple episodes a night, and like usually the first episode, I'm very sympathetic to the victims, but by the second or third one, I'm like, you're a moron. Like it's always like you know, the first time I went on a date to his parents' house, he grabbed his mother by the throat and said, "I don't want any casserole," and banged her head off the stove. And you know what? That should have been a red flag, but I didn't follow it. And then
I don't know why.
and then he kicked my dog right in the face, but I said he loves me, and it felt good to have him love me. I'm like, you deserve everything. I'm like, these people are whiners, and I get so upset. And then I think like, boy, I'm horrible. I'm like yelling at these people that have PTSD and that are using all their words that they got in
You're a
therapy.
bad person, Sam.
Yeah,
Canico.
but you watch 4 or 5 of those in a row, you're like, these people aren't victims. They're weak. You know.
Have you seen the Netflix show about the roommates, the bad roommates,
my
like
God,
people who
yes.
move in and won't move out and stuff like that? That I think is a fun show.
I like that show too.
Yeah.
I love whenever these things happen though. Like the first one of this season was like the lady had all the pills after she got her back surgery, and and she didn't realize like her roommate was poisoning her the whole time. And it's like, why? I always like what after they've had these horrible breakups with them, like, then I needed someone to watch my cat, and I didn't have anybody, so I got them, and I'm like, cool,
Yeah,
smart,
right.
It's always like, oh my god, it's the worst. But you know what? There's one guy in one of the episodes, and they were like, he would always watch these true crime shows and be on the side of the criminals. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm triggered. This is totally me.
Well, one thing I always think is weird too is like when they watch true crime, they're like true crime devotees, but then they make like these rookie mistakes, like they'll leave fingerprints or DNA all over the place. And I'm like, you don't even have to be a master criminal to know. All you have to do is watch like one episode of SVU, and you know, like, I don't know, like don't give yourself a haircut and like leave your hair all over the murder scene or something. Like,
I always say it, but can you imagine in the 50s how easy it was? Like, you're like, oh, we found all this blood. Oh, cool. Okay.
I caught myself shaving.
We can tell what type it is, but that's all we can do. Like today, they're like, oh, we've tracked your phone and we have pictures of you on 400 cameras. And like, oh, great.
Yeah, I know. I was saying to somebody, I was kind of joking. I was like, you know, it's like you literally can't commit murder anymore. Like the technology is too good. Like they would never in a prior decade have been able to link like Brian Koberger to those kids in Idaho. Like it was all based on like CCTV and DNA and stuff. And so it's like, it's kind of cool because like you can't like really like falsely, like I would probably false convictions. The rate of false convictions has gone down. And I guess, you know, for if you want to be a murderer, it sucks.
Yeah. Except for whoever left that head that was in the new Netflix Unsolved Mysteries in Beaver County here.
That was a while ago too, though.
Yeah, but it's in the new.
Didn't Becca go see the head?
She went to she went to the cemetery where the head is.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, but it's so many graves. She's like, how are we going to find the head? I'm like, we're going to have to ask somebody.
And does it just say head, like unidentified?
No, it says like Jane Doe on it.
Okay. Now, didn't they think that maybe somebody stole it from like a morgue or something?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They thought it was a satanic group in Fayette County. And then they cut to an occult expert who knew the police still had occult experts post-satanic panic. And this guy's like, the best thing to have for a devil group is to have a head. And you pray to the head and you do these things. And I'm like, what? Okay.
I think, you know, I grew up across the street. There was a cemetery across the street when I lived in Oakland. And at some point in my childhood, I was on the news that somebody had broken into the cemetery and broken into all these crypts and took heads. It was like 1987, right? So, of course, everyone's like, it's satanic cults, satanic cults. It was right during the satanic panic. And I mean, I would have thought like, oh, they're really exaggerating, but I mean, yeah, like who takes a head? And it was weird because they were really old crypts. So it was like whoever in it had died in 1910. I'm like, yeah, you've taken a really old head.
They thought the head was from the 50s, and it turned out the teeth had been worked on in the 90s. So like you had like modern dental work. So it's a pretty crazy story. But the head is where Mandy said she just watched it. The head is where I grew up. So it's like they found the head very close to where I'm from. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And now they'll find the hand next. For third segment, I've been saving it up just as a teaser for third segment. I have some Samantha Eggar content for you. Yeah. I watched another Samantha Eggar movie and I yelled at the screen through the whole thing in joy. Of how amazing she is in it. It's like it's so good.
I saw her and I can't remember that we watched in school. I remember once on like a rainy day, we watched The Light at the End of the World, that like Kirk Douglas swashbuckler movie.
Oh yeah. It's really super violent too.
Right. It's like PG rated, but it's really super violent. And at the end of the movie, because she's this treacherous woman who has to get her comeuppance, they basically hand her over to like all these pirates, presumably I guess to like gang rape to death or something. But like when you're a kid, like they don't explain, like they're just like, oh yeah, like the men are gonna, those swarthy men are gonna take care of her. And I'm like, can you hear the thunder?
Yeah. Wow.
I was like, this is a PG rated movie. It's a family movie. And one of the main characters, it's like alluded to that she's just going to spend the rest of her life being like gang banged on a pirate ship. Like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. Hey, but Kirk Douglas got out, so I mean that's what's important, right?
And Yul Brynner, got his, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching it and being like, man, 70s PG goes hard. 70s PG is 2024 NC-17.
You know what it was because the 70s was so violent and so profane that like if it was good, like people go like, oh, I can't believe Jaws is PG or Blood and Lace is PG, and it's like, well, think about it, like what was R-rated at that time? Like Taxi Driver, Sam Peckinpah movies, like Straw Dogs. Like, of course, like nobody's going to give Blood and Lace an R rating because a rubber hand gets chopped off or something. Like,
I was thinking more the incest angle.
Well, what was really funny about Blood and Lace was that it was like a PG. It was like when you make PG movies for kids, like matinee movies, you make like monster movies or something. And you're like, well, kids need to see movies with monsters too. It's like whoever made Blood and Lace was like, well, kids need to see movies about incest and corruption at an orphanage too. And it was like,
this could happen to you.
I can understand making a tame version of like a monster movie or a mad scientist movie or something for children, but like what child is like, damn, if it wasn't for that R rating, I could watch this sleazy movie about like, a corrupt orphanage. Like
young fans of Vic Tayback, they're like, he was great on Alice. I gotta watch this.
Right. Oh yeah, he tries to marry his daughter at the end of the movie.
All right, so it's time to watch House of Psychotic Women. Are you guys excited?
Super excited.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited too, and this is going to be the first time I watched it in a while. I remember how the movie ends, but I'm kind of looking forward to refreshing my memory. So we hope you like it too. The link is on Internet Archive. It's under Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll. You can just click the link on Groovy Doom. It's one of the last posts on there. And Mike Justice, you'll be back for the rest of the program, right?
Yeah, unless like I get struck by lightning or something.
I hope that doesn't happen. Or if it does, I hope it happens on camera. Because, wow, our ratings would go sky high after something like that.
I'm sitting right by a window.